Hey, Grievers and Groovers. How's it going? It's 8/8/18. Lots of eights. Are you guys into numerology? I have a 8 life path according to numerology. You'll have to Google it. I'm not going to explain it to you. How are you guys? It's really hot. It's 90 degrees right now in my living room. And that's why I have all the fans. Every fan known to man is surrounding me. I do feel like I'm going live like a Beyonce video, but yeah, I'm sweating. It's intense. Got a couple things we're going to talk about today. I'm going to give you guys a chance to tune in. I want to know if you can see and hear me okay. I want to know if where you're coming from, where you're viewing, tuning in from. We're going to talk about Australia's Dying to Know Day, because that's today. We're also going to talk about one of the things that I saw that the Dying to Know People Groundswell Project in Australia posted today. And there's an art piece called Before I Die, and then it asks for members of the community to write in what they feel. So I want to know what you guys feel. Hey, Tara, how's it going? It is Tara instead of Tara. I can't remember. And then we're going to talk about a special good to go birthday offer. It's my personal birthday coming up in October, and I'm going to offer a special offer for the Grievers and Groovers. It's a discount on the departure files. But anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. But it's 90 degrees. It's Wednesday, and Monday was my mom's deathversary, her 6th cosmic birthday. And I had, so I called you Tara. Okay, so that's right. Where are you tuning in from, Tara? So yeah, it was my mom's cosmic birthday. And you know what? It was okay. It wasn't super duper sad. I had a rock and roll filled weekend, which always helps for me. Hey, Amy, how's it going? I went to a special, Mick Fleetwood, the drummer in Fleetwood Mac, had a special evening with Mick Fleetwood at this local art gallery, Morrison Hotel Gallery. Actually, it's a gallery of rock and roll photography. So there was tons of super cool rock and roll, legendary rock and roll photos. And then Mick picked some of his favorites. And then he went through and he talked about his career and talked about the photos. So that was really fun. I was really excited because Neil Finn was supposed to be there. And Neil Finn is in the top 5 of the Amy faves, Paul McCartney being one of them at the tippity top. But he never showed. Ugh. So I did that on Saturday. That was really fun. Made new friends, saw some old ones. And then on Sunday, yes, Amy says, Henry Diltz. Yes, I had my picture taken by Henry Diltz so I can die happy. Now, who knows if I'll ever see it. But I met Henry, and he had a camera on his shoulder, and I said, are you taking pictures of everybody? And he goes, yeah, just for fun. And I was like, will you take a picture of me and my friend? It was all a ploy to have my photo taken by the legendary Henry Diltz. So I'll have to email him and ask him for it. But anyway, that was fun, and I got to meet a ton of rock photographers. Norman Seeff, Neil Preston, amazing, did so many famous photos of Queen and all that. Henry Diltz, huge famous rock and roll photographer, did a lot of album covers for Jackson Browne, Joni Mitchell, Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young, and Neil Young, and all those things. But anyway, Google him. He's amazing. Amy doesn't have to Google him. She knows who he is. But anyway, that was really fun. And then Sunday, I went to see ELO at the Forum with one of my favorite bands opening up called Dawes. And they had a song, got me a little choked up, called May All Your Favorite Bands Stay Together. Fantastic song and title. And then ELO were so great. How can you feel down about your dead mom when you've got ELO? It was like a ray of sonic sunshine. Really, really good. We literally, my friend Bob and I went, and He's a fan too, so that was nice to go with someone who appreciated the music. I think we were literally 9 rows away from the top, from the last row, but it didn't matter because we got a good view of the crowd and the lights and all of that. So anyway, all this to say, it was really nice to have a rock and roll weekend coming into the anniversary. And then I had really good friends crash at my place the night of the ELO show because they had a Hollywood Bowl concert to go to. And whenever they come into LA for a concert, I let them crash at my place, even though it's 900 million degrees. And then they took me out to breakfast on the morning of my mom's cosmic birthday. So that made me feel good and loved up. And of course, I always light a candle on mom days, whether it's her birthday or her cosmic birthday. And this is the little votive that I had made after she died. I had these made for her life celebration, and that's how she signed all of her cards and letters, and all of her lovely, cherished friends got to have a little votive with a candle inside. And then also we got personalized wine openers, wine bottle openers, with her signature. And it says Leslie XO. So that way, whenever anyone is celebrating or just enjoying a nice, lovely glass of wine, they'll think of my mom. So I thought of good old Meemaw. I lit the candle. I love this candle so much. Her favorite color was purple, and this purple is such a beautiful, rich purple, and it looks so groovy when it's lit. Anyway, so that's what I did on the cosmic birthday, and it wasn't so sad. Let's see. Amy says, you have a picture taken with Henry. So do I, but I didn't post it. But Tara says, well, oh my God, what an awesome ploy. Right? Come on now. Yeah, it is a good way to spend my weekend. Anyway, thank you for commenting on the votive. I appreciate that. So I'll revisit the Good to Go birthday special at the very end, but I'll tell you guys about it now. So I'm going to be 50 this year, this October 10th. And October 10th is a Wednesday. So I'm going to go live on my birthdays. And so I thought it might be a fun idea, and let me know what you guys think about this, to offer $5 off on the departure files until the end of September. So you guys can go to my Good to Go website, which is goodtogopeace.org/services. And in PayPal, instead of ordering one departure file, if you can just put in the other amount box, if you just write 50, then I will send you a departure file. And then you can have it by the time my birthday rolls around on October 10th. And then you can ask me any questions you have about what's in the departure file. And we'll go through a little bit of it, just like I do in my private consultations or at parties. I'll put on some of the Good to Go death playlist, the rock and roll deathy songs, and answer any questions that you guys have. So this is a cool opportunity because normally my consultations cost the money, and normally the departure files cost $5 extra. So I'm gonna give you guys a birthday special and knock $5 off the price because I'm gonna be 50. So 50 is nifty for Good to Goers. So if you guys have not gotten your Good to Go paperwork yet, and I highly encourage you to do it, it covers everything a will doesn't cover. You're not going to write down stuff about your bills in your will. Or if you do, that's a little weird. But I encourage that because your loved ones are going to have to know all about your bills, all about your finances, what accounts you have, savings, checking, credit card, etc. And then for the ladies out there, I know that we love a bargain, not to stereotype, but, men might love a bargain out there too. But we have 1 million little cards for each store, whether it's, Sally's Beauty Supply or Macy's or whatever, Nordstrom's. You can always have like credit cards, little cards for each Costco card membership, all these things. Your loved ones have to know what the deal is with every single account that you have. And there's room in the Good to Go paperwork to write it all down. which is groovy. So Amy says, yay for October babies. Is it your birthday too there, Amy, in October? Are you a Libra? I can never make a decision. I ultimately make decisions, but I can never make a quick decision. I have to kind of weigh everything, pros and cons, shout it out to a couple other people, get a sounding board, and then I'll decide. I am the worst when it comes to trying on clothes by myself and making a decision. I always need an extra pair of eyes. And just because I'm an extrovert, if my friend's not with me, I'll grab the sales lady. I'll grab a Mima and her daughter who are in the stall next to me and be like, hey, you guys, give me your advice. So yeah, I need the input. But anyway, I don't need the input on knocking $5 off the departure file. So if you guys want to order, I'll make a post about it and, you know, shout it from the rooftops. But right now I'm just sharing it with the Grievers and the Groovers live because I just thought of it about an hour ago when I was in the shower. The very cold, ice cold shower that was amazing that I didn't want to get out of because it is 90 degrees. It's too hot for jewelry or makeup. I don't have anything on. I just have my skimpy little sundress, which you will only see from here upwards as a gift. Okay, so that is exciting. Yeah, and Amy's just like, yeah, I get it. We're Libras, surrounded by beauteous things. I want to make sure that all my senses are in effect. I like to have smelly candles. I like to have things that are aesthetically pleasing. I like it neat and tidy. You know, harmony, Libra. I used to joke with my friends my friend who was also a Libra. I said, you do know the secret Libra cheer, right? She was like, no, what is it? And I was like, LIBRA, all decisions we must weigh. I just thought of that. But anyway, let's talk about Australia's Dying to Know Day. And I wanted to ask you guys, so as part of the Dying to Know Day, they had this art piece that says, before I die, ... So I want to know if you guys, how would you fill that in? If you guys have a bucket list or a bucket list that starts with an F. I've heard of those too. My clients have shared those with me. So just wanted to know, like, do you have a bucket list? Do you have any kind of thoughts about what you want to do before you die? Does that, before I die, complete this sentence? Does it bring up some ideas for you guys? I want to hear from you. Hey, Dawn. Very cool. You're sharing your birthday with us. Well, it's on a Wednesday. Of course I would. I would love to. But if you guys order the departure files, it takes a while to get there, 7 to 10 days, because I send it out through media mail to save on the cost. So it'll take a couple weeks to get to you. So that's why I'm announcing it now for August and September. The deadline to get your departure file by my birthday would probably be the last weekend or last week in September. And then we'll go over it and I'll answer any questions you want. And then bask in the birthday love. And then I'll ask you guys if I look older than the previous week. So yeah, do you have a bucket list? Do you have how would you complete the sentence, before I die? I was thinking about it, my darn self, and I don't really have a bucket list. I've pretty much lived my life the way I've wanted to up until this point. And I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with my life. Do I wish certain things could have gone a different way? Perhaps. Do I wish I was a millionaire? Yes. Do I lie awake at nights thinking about it? No. I appreciate my life the way I have it now. I would love to be able to spread the word about Good to Go far and wide. So if you know any journalists who want to write a story about Good to Go, get it in the press. Oh my gosh, now all the fans, it's not enough. I need a fan. I need a hand fan. But I wrote in my Good to Go paperwork, because it is a cosmic instruction manual, I wrote that it's okay if I die tomorrow. I don't feel like I have some burning thing that I wasn't able to achieve. Like if I die, tomorrow, obviously, you know, it'll be, oh, so young. But on the other hand, I don't feel like I have to write the great novel, or damn it, if only my teenage poetry would have been published. I don't feel like that at all. Tara says, I have a bucket list. I want to travel to every state and go to as many national parks as I can and visit with friends that live all over the states. Tara, how fantastic. I did exactly that. I didn't visit all the national parks. This was, I think, a year after my mom died. I went on the road. I left on the anniversary of her death. No, it was 2 years. It was the second year after my mom died. And I drove across the country by myself because I didn't have any other friends that could get off work or, you know, go with me. And I just went by myself, and I did little good to go pop-up parties along the way. And I stayed at different national parks. And my favorite, this is off of a tangent, but national park was Arches in Utah, in Moab, Utah. And I was there almost to the day in August of 2014. And I was there for the Perseids meteor shower. And the Perseids meteor shower happens every August. It's usually around August 11th through the 13th, just depending on the day. And you have to go into super duper dark night skies, no light pollution whatsoever, in order to see Mother Nature's best light show, which is the Perseids meteor shower. It's the biggest meteor shower. I'm a sky geek. I'm a nature stargazing freak and or dork. And I try to get out to the desert, the Joshua Tree Desert, because that's only 2 hours away from me. Utah, very far. But I'm going this weekend, and I am so excited. My mom's best friend is coming out from Dayton, Ohio, and we are gonna drive out to the desert. Then I've got a couple other good soul friends coming out, and we're spending 3 whole nights in the desert. That is an absolute luxury because the meteor shower's on several nights, and if you only go out for one night and that night happens to be cloudy, you don't get to see any meteors. So this is an absolute luxury to be able to be out there 3 nights, and hopefully all 3 nights we'll be able to see it. But anyway, I can't control the weather, although I am feeling that the pressure is on me for some reason to have an amazing Perseids meteor shower experience to all my guests who are coming in. But I have a feeling it's going to be clear. It's going to be nice. And we've got a pool at the Airbnb we're staying at because it's hot as balls in the desert. So yes, travel across the country and see friends. How great is that? I stayed with friends all the way around. And then in states that I didn't have friends in, I just stayed at, you know, cheapy Airbnbs and then made friends with the owners. For example, when I was in Memphis, Tennessee, spent the night at an Airbnb and then convinced the owner, who was living in Memphis for 20 years, to go see Al Green, the Reverend Al Green, as in Let's Stay Together, Al Green, as in the R&B singer from Stax, Al Green. And we went to his gospel church, which is just a mile away from Graceland. And I got to see him preach and sing. And his gospel choir and the band were amazing. And it was a beautiful thing. So anyway, Tara, do it. Go, go, go. I think I did the whole thing. I mean, it was a whirlwind. I think I did it in about 4 weeks. And then I went from California, drove all the way to Ohio, stayed with my dad for a week just to kind of rest and recover, because there's some long drives. Sometimes I drove 10 hours in one day all by myself or sons. But it was great. And when I was in Arches National Park, I was by myself. So I stayed at a international hostel that was close by. And a hostel is just kind of like an Airbnb, but it's almost like dormitory kind of camping in a way. And just way cheaper than an Airbnb or a hotel. I think it was $40 a night. It was called the Lazy Lizard. And I met 2 sweet young girls, Claire and Lizzie. And it turns out that Liz was studying to be a nurse and worked as a hospice nurse or a hospice helper in nursing homes. So, you know, the fact that here we are randomly talking about death in Utah during the Perseids, and then I convinced them both to come out and watch the meteor shower with me. They didn't even know. They'd just been hiking and doing that stuff all day. They had to leave the next morning at 6 a.m. or the next morning to go to their next hike and their next nature visit, and they didn't even know that the meteor shower was happening. And so we all went together and we hung out all night. I treated them to breakfast in the morning, and it was a beautiful thing. So if you guys are around, Saturday, Sunday is the peak night, and Monday, and you might see some before and after, but you got to go to dark skies. So maybe you don't live near a national park, but just drive out into the boonies, into the country, even for an hour. The best peak times are 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. I know it's late for people, but if you can get your kids and make a thing of it, it's literally the most beautiful thing in the world. Just Google Perseids meteor shower and it'll tell you if you can see it where you are. Tara says you plan on doing it after your daughter graduates high school in 4 years. Start planning now. It's so fun. And then if you buy a national parks pass, it's only like $85. It's good for a year and it gets you into all the parks. So it's handy. And Tara says, I'd love to do it before then, so I might. You should. And you don't have to do it all. You could just do a little jaunt, you know? It was the coolest thing. A lot of people were like, you're so brave doing it by yourself. And it's just like, well, I drive to the desert all the time by myself. That's 2 hours away. It's just the desert times a million. Drive. And then I went along, did little rock and roll fun things. I got to see a concert at Red Rocks in Denver, which I'd never gone to before, but I always wanted to because I was such a music fan. So I got to see My Morning Jacket, one of my favorite bands, at Red Rocks. Come on, it was amazing. And we did the Al Green thing. That was really fun. Who else? I did all kinds of rock and roll things on that trip. I can't remember. Anyway, we're not talking about that. Let's get it back to death. Although I could talk about rock and roll things all day. Yeah, I don't really have a bucket list. I remember having a conversation, funnily enough, during a meteor shower. It was in the winter. And we were talking about, what do you want out of life? What do you want? And my friend was saying, I would like to meet a man and have kids and settle down and, all that stuff. And then she's like, what about you? And I said, I just want to live my life in a way that I'm literally moving my soul's ball down the field just a little bit more in this lifetime than the last. So that in the next go around, I'll be that much further ahead. I just want to try and be as kind of, I don't know, what's the word? I mean, I guess I could describe it as spiritually clean, but that sounds weird. I just want to live my life in the most loving way that I can, with love in my heart, and to remember that when things get crazy or the news gets crazy. That's the one upside about the nightmare that we're experiencing, is death is so much better and more fun to talk about. So in Australia, they're talking about it. It's called Dying to Know Day. We have on April 16th every year, National Healthcare Decisions Day. Not quite the same. A little bit of the same. A little bit of crossover in the Venn diagram in the middle. But it's talking about death. And it's basically encouraging, Dying to Know Days, encouraging the Australian communities all over to talk about death. And I just saw a video that one of the Dying to Know Day partners had posted, and they said 75% of Australians haven't planned for their deaths. 75%. It's a lot. And the point being, if we talk about death a lot, it erases the stigma. It seems like it's just a normal, everyday thing. We celebrate endings. in our lives, whether it's, I mean, with kids now, they have a graduation from kindergarten. They have a graduation from third grade. They have a graduation to middle school. They have a graduation, you know, up until graduating from middle school to high school. And then obviously you've got high school graduation, and then you've got college, you know, so these are all endings. A birthday is an ending. It's that year over of that age, but you're also starting anew. It's just how you choose to look at it. So I think if more people talk about dying, talk about death, talk about grief, grief also feels to me kind of something that's hidden away that people are embarrassed about. I mean, hell, I was kind of like, wow, you know, my mom's been dead for 6 years and I could still cry about it at the drop of a hat. Is that normal? Is that weird? You know? And the thing is, it is normal. Normal. My grief therapist says there's no such thing as normal. But the thing is, there's a certain shorthand that you have with other people who have experienced grief. And there's an ease there that you don't have to explain yourself. And, you know, that's what I love about Grievers and Groovers. As you guys know, you've experienced that deep cosmic pain of loss. And we're still here. You're online, you're tuning in, we're upright. Some of us are wearing makeup and bras. Some of us are not. Let's see, Tara says, death really is a part of life. I mean, it is. And it was such a shock when it first happened, when my mom died. I mean, I had a grandma that died, but that kind of seemed like, oh, she's old. That's, you know, and I was young and goofy and a teenager and I didn't really understand it. But I found, and my dad saved an old obituary of my grandma's, and I always thought she died in her mid-60s. She was only 61. But at the time, it was like 1985, I think it was, that she died. I was a teenager, and I just thought, well, you know, grandma's old. That's what happens when you get old. It's only 11 years from now. What? Talk about before I die, ... But yeah, Dawn says, when we moved down here to Jacksonville, it was beautiful to see my kids put their feet in the Atlantic for the first time. Ah, oh, that's so great. It was pure joy. So I'm now living the salt life. Oh, I love it. I love the ocean. So soothing. I love that. Tara says, I'm an only child with just my mom now, and luckily I know a lot of what she wishes. Good. And I'm glad she's always been so open about it. Ah, I'm glad too. I'm telling you, Tara, it's gonna make things so much easier. And the conversations that you have with your loved ones, not only about what you want, but about what they want, those are the conversations you're gonna remember. Those are the conversations that after that person dies, you are going to be able to gain so much nutrition from these conversations. I am so grateful that I talked to my mom and my dad, and this is before Good to Go, about, you know, their thoughts about death. Now, I didn't do Good to Go then. I obviously didn't create it yet, so I didn't know the death duties and the details that I needed to, you know, knock out with them. But I got general stuff. You know, I did talk to my mom about what she thought happened when we die, and we talked a lot about life and the cosmic questions, you know, and I talked with my dad about it too. And then, of course, once my mom died, and then I experienced the lovely hell that is the death duties all by myself, having to go through it when you're in the wilderness of grief, which is just the worst time, that you've got to be present with a brain that works when your brain's just trying to figure out how to survive hour by hour and to figure out your new normal. And that's when I created Good to Go. And then my granny died, and then I started having Good to Go parties and trying to spread the word. And then, I've said this before, but my dad came to a Good to Go party a year before he died, and then we went through the departure file and had all the little details. My dad wrote his own obituary. My dad filled out the Good to Go paperwork, so I knew that he didn't want a picture. with his obituary. Whereas with my mom, I guessed. And we just guessed for a photo. We guessed what papers she wanted it in, you know. Don't make your loved ones guess. And so when you're talking to your loved ones about this kind of stuff, I mean, even talking to them about a bucket list or, you know, before you die, you know, it's just kind of comforting knowing that the conversations I had with my parents about, you know, do you have any kind of great, you know, yearning for, oh, if only I could, you know, write that hit song or whatever it is. And both of my parents, and this is, you know, before Good to Go, they had talked about how they really appreciated the life that they lived, and they lived life on their terms. And, you know, my mom got to travel as much as she wanted to. And, you know, I know she always wanted to live by the beach, but, you know, she didn't know that she was going to die at such a young age. You know, she was only 63. No, 67. I don't even remember how old she was when she died. Oh my God, can you believe that? She was 67. Yeah. God, 2012. Yeah, I think she was 67. Oh, doesn't matter. She's still dead, and it's depressing. But I am making her recipes, and I'm going to make a couple recipes of hers over the weekend. So that'll be nice. Bring her close to me. And I love that the Perseids meteor shower is so close to my mom's deathversary, her cosmic birthday, because, you know, when I look out at the stars, it's just, I feel closer to her. I feel like the cosmos, the universe, it's all right there. And you're part of it, and you feel part of everything, and then insignificantly nothing. So it's kind of, again, that contrariness that life gives you when someone dies. You know, it's just like you're incredibly sad, but there's so much love that's, you know, expressed to you in such a great outpouring that, you know, I felt more love than I ever had, even though the main person that loved me the most is gone. You know, it's a very contrary thing. Don says, Charles told me to put his ashes on your beach, our beach. So I'm wanting to travel the Atlantic coast starting now. Charles and I wanted to move to Florida, but the butt up and died on me. Charles, damn it. I mean, it's really inconsiderate, Don. I think you should have a word with them. I'm sure you have already. But yes, it is so inconvenient. Hi, Chanel. Evening to you over in the UK. We were talking a little bit about Australia's Dying to Know Day. I don't know if England has any kind of day. In America, we have National Healthcare Decisions Day every April. In Australia, they've got Dying to Know Day. I know that in Scotland, they have, oh, what's it called? Something to do with celebrating people who have died, your past, your departed loved ones. What is it? It's like a festival in Scotland. I can't remember what it's called. I'm drawing a blank right now. The heat has melted my brain. But England does not have any kind of death day where people can talk about their wishes, but they should. Tara says, yes, it's so much easier not having to guess. I know, girl. Chanel says, we had to guess with my granny. She wouldn't talk about anything she wanted when she passed. My poor mom had to make the plans. My granny was 69 when she passed, which is young. Dawn says, I'm honoring Charles's wishes and living near oceans as we wanted to do. That's lovely. So yes, Charles is enjoying the Atlantic under the sea. Under the sea. I love that. Tara says, my teenage son is in a band. That's awesome. And a musician now. And I always know my dad is here when he rehearses. And then at a show, I absolutely feel him with us. I'm sure. I mean, he's so excited about your son being in a band and rocking out. I'm sure. Yeah, I love that. Chanel says, I've got my driving test next Thursday and will be taking my granny, her ashes with me. I'm sure she'll help me. How are you going to do that? Are you just, do you have a little small bit? Or are you literally bring in the urn in like a duffel bag? That's what I did. I put my mom in this like bowling bag that belonged to one of my great aunts. And when you unzip it, it's old. It's like one of those old Samsonite carry-on bags that the old stewardesses would make. And you open it up and it smelled like my aunt, because, you know, that old lady perfume. So I just stuck the box of Mom's ashes in there, and I took her along to her life celebration. So I would love to know, Chanel, how you're going to discreetly bring your grandma along for the ride. I hope she gives you some of the answers, but I hope you pass. Driving in the UK is tough business. I'm sure you will. Good luck. Let us know how it goes. We're with you. We're with you, Chanel. Let's all put out some good vibes to Chanel for her driving test next week. And Tara says, I hope the urn sits in the seat next to you. I know, right? Just maybe put a little seatbelt behind it in the back seat for your driving instructor and be like, my grandma's coming along for the ride. Oh, okay, it's a tiny one. You'll pop her in your pocket. Good. Have you guys seen those necklaces? They're just like, it's cremation jewelry. I mean, cremation jewelry is growing and growing and growing, and there's so many beautiful pieces of jewelry that you can have now. But there's actually, you know, little silver or gold containers that you can put ashes in and wear around your neck. That might seem a little extreme to some people. So there's other ways that you can celebrate your loved one. You can, you know, have their cremains in some sort of bead or, you know, some sort of discreet sort of necklace or bracelet. But then you can also, you know, just have maybe something like a sample of their handwriting on a bracelet. Like if your granny wrote you a birthday card that you kept over the years, you can actually get her signature that says like love Granny or whatever. You can have that on a necklace or a bracelet or a piece of art, or you can get it made into a piece of art. There's so many things you can do to memorialize your loved ones in a way that's kind of celebrating them in your everyday. And I love that you're taking your granny along with you on your driver's test. She is there with you. Our spiritual support team. I talk to my spiritual support team all the time. I don't ask them for stuff necessarily, but I ask to help allow me to be open to whatever I'm supposed to encounter and learn and things like that. I don't, you know, play the lottery and be like, okay, you guys, write down the numbers, make it happen. Maybe I should. Maybe that's why I haven't won the lottery. But no, I think, you know, if you just know that they're with you, if you acknowledge that they're with you, and then you know that, you don't have to ask them, please let me pass my driving test, because you will. Or I should say, if you're meant to pass it, you will. And if you're meant to fail it, you're going to fail it for a reason, because it's supposed to teach you something. That's what I think anyway. It could be a load of new agey hocus pocus, but I believe it, and it doesn't hurt anybody. Thank you for some hearts. Chanel says, can get jewelry made here in the UK with ashes. Yeah, I have my granny's handwriting on your foot tattooed from a birthday card she wrote you. That's right, I forgot about that. That's amazing. I totally forgot about memorial tattoos. I was just talking about tattoos with my friend today. She got 3 little daisies put on her wrist. One for her, one for her daughter, and one for her mom. How sweet is that? Really sweet. But yes, so we're talking about death and how it's important to have the conversation with your peeps. So, you know, what are some icebreakers to talk about what your peeps would, you know, would want? Because it's hard if you've got someone like, you know, the granny that doesn't want to talk about it. You kind of can't force a round peg into a square hole. You kind of can't make somebody talk about it if they don't want to. But I say, keep trying to get in there and kind of rephrase it. Like, okay, I know you don't want to talk about it, but if you could tell me why, maybe I could understand better where you're coming from. And it might be, well, if I talk about it, that means it's going to happen. Or if I talk about it, I'll get emotional, and I don't want to get emotional in front of you. I don't want to cry in front of you. And then, you know, that's when you can say, but it's kind of sad to think about. I had a client who contacted me and said, how can I talk to my mom who's dying without being sad? And I just thought, well, why do you want to talk to her about the end of her life without being sad? Because it's sad. I think if you both just accept that it's sad and you both feel comfortable with crying about it, then it's a release. it gets it out. So yeah, so, you know, if someone in your life doesn't want to talk about their death or doesn't want to talk about what plans they have, maybe they haven't thought about it. So they don't know. You know, work with them, ease into it, and say, okay, well, maybe you don't know what you want because you haven't thought about it. This is what I want. And I want to make sure that you know, because I don't want to put you in the position of, holy shit, you know, Amy's in a coma. I don't know what she would have wanted. Does anybody know what she would have wanted? Anybody? Bueller? You know, it's one of those things. Especially because I'm single and I don't have kids. My loved ones, and the family's dead, my loved ones are gonna be my friends. And then, you know, I mean, even though they know that I'm all good to go, maybe I'm with a friend that doesn't know a lot about good to go, doesn't know that I have my departure file completed and that it's on my desk, doesn't know the answers that they need to know. I've got to make sure that a good majority of my friends do know what I want so that they don't have the burden of trying to figure it out, and then they won't live with me haunting them through guilt when I die. Back to ashes. Dawn says, I carry a small vial in my cigarette case just in case I go to a different beach. Aw, kind of strange to refill them, but that's how Charles and I were. I know. See, I feel like if you've got an agreement with your dead rellies, you know, or your dead loved one, that's all that matters. Other people might think it's weird, but as long as you guys are good, I say rock it out. Tara says, I have my dad's handwriting on my leg inside of a memorial ribbon. That's beautiful. I love that. Chanel says, my mom has 3 hearts. Oh, gosh, everybody's got the 3 things for my 2 angel babies I lost and my granny. Oh, that's beautiful. And they're in your spiritual support team too. I believe it. The babies and your granny, they are hanging together and they are looking out for you and just sending you so much love. I believe it. And that sounds wackadoodle cuckoo to some people. Doesn't to me. Hi, Lindsay. Needs to be a show like Say Yes to Your Death. I know, right? Instead of Say Yes to the Dress. Oh my gosh, that is amazing. I would love to host that. How could we do it? We could have people showing up completely caught out of the blue, unaware. Say yes to your death. That's fantastic. Dawn says, Charles' ashes are mixed into your tattoo. Yes, you did send me the picture. I remember we talked about that on one of the Grievers and Groovers about memorial tattoos and how you can have cremains put into ink, tattoo ink for a tattoo. And yes, we were strange to some people. Life is too short not to be strange. What is Robin Hitchcock? Have you guys heard of Robin Hitchcock? He's an English singer-songwriter. He's very eccentric, and I've loved him since my 20s, since the 90s. And I love following him on social media. He's hilarious and creative and eclectic and strange and awesome. And he posted, he was at a beach, I think it was actually in Australia, and he put some seaweed on his head like it was a long-haired wig. And he just wrote something like, be embarrassed or be alive. And I just love, it's like, sure, you could spend time being embarrassed and like, oh no, this is silly. I'm a grown man. I shouldn't put seaweed on my head and post a picture of myself shirtless on the beach when I'm in my 60s or whatever, you know, but he did it. And I love that. And this Friday, when my mom's best friend comes in town for the meteor shower, we're going to leave on Saturday morning to go out to the desert. I'm taking her to the Hollywood Bowl for a night of Star Wars, A New Hope, which is the first Star Wars, I think, you know, from the 70s, you know, the one with Leia and Luke and all that, or Leia, Princess Leia. And I have Princess Leia buns that you just stick on your head. I'm going to wear them. I'm wearing them to the Hollywood Bowl. I mean, you might as well. Be embarrassed or be alive. I choose to be alive and join in the fun. Life is too short not to be fun. What do we have here? The comments going by fast. Okay, Chanel, I've written things I want, songs, etc. But Never told anyone. You got to tell people, Chanel, and then you got to get the good to go departure file and write it down in your paperwork. I've got it all listed. The entire, what food, what I want people to wear, what music I want played, who I want to perform, because I'm friends with a lot of musicians, all of that. So talk to your peoples. Tara says we had to talk about it with my cousin, and she wrote everything down. We were so grateful she did because she was very young and she wanted us to have a life celebration. That's beautiful. Good. I'm glad that she did. Chanel says, I've written things I want, songs, but never really spoken to anyone. But I've told my family I don't want to go in a hole and rather be burnt. Well, even if those are just your basics, you know, hypotheticals are good. You know, if I die, don't bury me, cremate me. Okay, that's great. That is a basic thing that your peeps will know. But then, well, what do you want done with your ashes? Where do you want them put? What if a friend wants ashes and your family member is in possession of your ashes? Is it okay to give them a few teaspoons to maybe make some jewelry for you? You know, that kind of thing. It's just like, these are the specifics that are in the paperwork. Do you want a song played while you're cremated? It takes an hour for an adult to be cremated, roughly. So do you want any music played while you're literally, burn, baby, burn? Who knows? You want Disco Inferno to play? One of my clients said she wanted You Can't Always Get What You Want by the Rolling Stones played while she's being cremated. Let's see. Tara says that would be the most amazing show ever. I know. Say yes to your death. Sheila says, doesn't to me either. No, my granny is looking over me and looking after my angel babies till we meet again. Yes, I believe it too. And it doesn't cost anything to believe it, and it doesn't hurt anybody to believe it, but it brings such comfort. So I say, yes, I agree with you. Why not live for today, right? Carpe diem. Oh, the sun's coming out here. Okay, I'm going to wrap up. Oh, gosh. Yes, I'm going to wrap up. Perseids meteor shower this weekend, you guys. Try to get to some night skies. Drive away from the city. Maybe you've got a rural area that borders the town that you live in. Try to go somewhere, maybe in the woods, something like that. Make a fun thing of it with your kids before school starts. Fun little outing. Staying up late, 2 to 5 a.m. Pre-dawn hours are when you see most of it. And you can Google, or you can go to earthsky.org and find out all the kind of stargazing info, like what area of the sky to watch it from, all that good kind of stuff. And then 50 is nifty. I'm going to post about it, but you guys can get departure files off of my website, goodtogopeace.org/services. And then in the other amount box, put in $50. And I'll know that that is for a departure file. And obviously, you're paying through PayPal. And your address, make sure your address is current. And I will send you a departure file, $5 off the price. $50 for peace of mind. Peoples, that is a steal. It's worth it. And I'll say it again. When my dad was in the ICU for 6 days before he passed away, I did not have to answer one gut-wrenching question that I didn't know the answer to. And you know, when your loved one is in the ICU, shit gets real. It is life or death. And I was rock solid on all the decisions that I had to make in regard to his care, because I knew what he wanted. I was rock solid on what he wanted. Not only did we talk about it, he wrote it down, filled it out. Looks like I have some kind of weird sun tattoo. He wrote it all down, and so I knew. And I can't stress it enough. I mean, this is why I do what I do. I'm passionate about it. I can't, if I could shake all of you and say, do this, it will make your life so much easier. It'll make your life and the life of your loved ones so much easier. I'm telling you. I know it for a fact. There are very few things that I know 100%. That is one of them. Advanced planning helps your loved ones in their grief. And isn't that a beautiful gift you'd give them in your death? They're so traumatized that you're gone and that they can't talk to you anymore or can't pick up the phone and call you. but to know that they are following your wishes, and it makes grief so much more palatable and easier to digest when you know that you're following the wishes of your loved one. It makes you proud to do what they wanted. It makes you happy that, you know, you're carrying through with what they wanted. They trusted you with that. It's a beautiful thing. And it's really going to help you heal in the long run. So anyway, 50 is nifty. October 10th, we're going to go live. We're going to answer any questions you have about the departure file. It's going to be live on my 50th birthday. Thank you guys for tuning in. It was lovely to talk to you. Oh my goodness, Dawn says she just learned that she could have hit the fire button when he was cremated, and he would have loved that. You can do that. Talk to your funeral director or the person who's in charge of the crematorium, and you know, there's different rules all over the place, but talk to your peeps. And I don't find that morbid or weird. I find this weird. Oh wait, sorry, this weird sun thing weird. But anyway, yeah, you don't think of these things. Chanel says, my partner said he wants, I'm a fire starter when he's burnt. That's hilarious. The prodigy. A steal of a deal. $50 for peace of mind. Yes. Anyway, all right, Tara, Chanel, Dawn, everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. I love you guys. Sending out a huge hug to any of you out there who are in the thick of it, who are grieving. You're going to get through it, and we're going to help you. And I forgot to post a thing about the blog. I'm doing a blog now on Quora, and I'll post another post about that. It's just so hot, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've been a little burnt out with the heat and then trying to, you know, make a living on surviving death and posting every day on different social media platforms. It's a lot, still trying to keep my business going. So I've been a little remiss. I've not been the worker bee that I should have been, mainly just because things have been busy and all that. But I've been remiss. I will change that. I will be much more involved. But anyway, it's just the heat. It's so hard to do anything except lay here with cans of soda under each armpit and leg. So anyway, all right, Grievers and Groovers, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next week. All right, say yes to the death. Talk to you later, you guys. Love you. Bye.